about it deeply, okay, Marx is right. Communism happened in the Soviet Union, it happened in China, but it didn't happen in Europe and in the United States, where Marx said it would happen first because Germany was more industrialized than Russia or China. After World War II, every society, every industrial society, to some extent, adopted the ideals of communism. We call this socialism and not communism, but basically it adhered to the thinking of Marx, which is to make the worker the heart and center of your society. So in America and in Europe, workers became the heart and center of your society because workers create value. Okay? Money doesn't create any value, but the workers create value. They're productive. And therefore, you have to treat your workers properly. That's why you had excellent healthcare, great public schools, cheap universities. But in the 80s, we start to change this. Starting in the 80s, we start to go back to money. So what happened in the 80s is something called the Revolt of the Elite. So the Revolt of the Elite happened in the 80s. And this is what we call, in the United States, the Reagan Revolution. In the 1970s, if you were a CEO, the head of a company, okay, you were making on average $1 million a year. And that $1 million was more than 20 times the worker. Today, the average CEO in the United States makes $20 million a year. And that is 200 to 300 times more than the average worker in the company. And so they're transitioning from the worker to a new organizing unit called the consumer. And the way they did it was by introducing a new concept called the consumer, okay? So in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, the government promised you a good job, okay? So in the 80s, the government said, I promise you that you have low prices and a wide selection of goods. Okay? So remember that, an example of the worker has to have political consciousness in order to protect his or her rights, in order to organize and unify and push for favorable political reforms, okay? That's what the worker must do, okay? But now let's think about the mentality of the consumer.